Coming up on Good Morning Northwest, a suspected gang-related shooting right outside a Yakima elementary school. What we know about the teenage victim.
Plus, charges are being considered for the 2019 death of a WSU student who died from alcohol poisoning.
And get ready for more wind out there today. New wind advisories just been issued. More details on what you can expect is all coming up.
From Camp KVUE Local News, this is Good Morning Northwest.
Good morning, Northwest. And as Neil just pointed out, happy Friday's Eve.
I like that.
I do too. Yesterday, Kristen, a beautiful day. What are we in store for today?
Well, we're still going to have a little bit more sun, but we have more changes moving in today. Weak disturbance creating the chance for some wind, even a few showers out the door. So as we get you started first, this is a live look right now in downtown Yakima. Pretty quiet for you. And as we switch over to our winds, not too bad just yet. You can see some of those sustained winds right now, 19 in Walla Walla, 15 in Pendleton, and 7 in the Tri-Cities. But they are slowly starting to get going this morning. Wind advisory is set to start at 10 a.m. So it is going to be a breezy day today as the system moves through. You can see a few of these rain showers now starting to work through portions of the Tri-Cities this morning. A lot of this is just rain. Temperatures are above freezing, especially in the Tri-Cities this morning, 43 in Walla Walla, but down to about 33 over into Yakima. So as we take you throughout the day today, we will be back to a partly sunny sky. Actually looking at numbers today climbing up to 53 degrees. So as we look ahead into the weekend, will these winds be sticking around? I'll have that full forecast. It's coming up.
Thank you, Kristen. A Washington State Patrol employee has been arrested and charged with 2 counts of attempted child rape. Washington State Patrol hasn't identified the suspect, but said he was a commercial vehicle enforcement officer assigned to school bus inspections. WSP said they are shocked and deeply disappointed by these serious allegations. The Seattle Police Department has taken over the criminal investigation, and the suspect has been removed from his duties. 2 teens were shot in Yakima yesterday, one outside a school, the other in a park. The latest was at about 4:30 p.m. near Kiwanis Park yesterday. Police say it was gang-related. The victim is 19. He was taken to the hospital. Now, a 16-year-old boy is also recovering after someone shot him outside Garfield Elementary in Yakima. Officers say the shooter and several others took off in a car that was stolen. The teen was rushed to the hospital.
He has what we believe are non-life-threatening injuries at this time. Obviously critical condition because he suffered a gunshot wound and possibly 2.
Several hours later, police spotted that car that touched off a high-speed chase. The chase ended when a car crashed into a school bus. Thankfully, no kids were on the bus and the bus driver wasn't badly hurt. The 4 in the car, all under 18, were caught. Between this case, the Kiwanis Park case, and other recent shootings, 4 teens in Yakima have been shot in gang-related shootings over the past 5 days.
Charges are being considered for 7 men believed to be associated with the 2019 death of a Washington State University student. Samuel Martinez was 19 when he died of alcohol poisoning at Alpha Tau Omega. The coroner ruled that the death was accidental, but Martinez's family is suing the fraternity, university, and others in King County Superior Court for what they believe was a series of hazing that led to the night he died. Police are requesting 7 men associated with the ATO house be charged with misdemeanors for allegedly being involved with Martinez's death. The Whitman County Prosecutor's Office is now in the process of determining charges. Former home improvement actor Zachary Ty Bryan has pleaded guilty to menacing and 4th-degree assault. The 39-year-old was arrested in October in Eugene, Oregon for strangling the woman he was living with. As part of his plea agreement, 6 other charges were dropped. Bryan has been sentenced to 3 years probation and agreed never to contact the victim. Prosecutors say he lives part-time in Oregon and California, where he's a film and television producer. Bryan is known for his role as Brad Taylor on The Home Improvement from 1991 to 1999. It's National Eating Disorder Awareness Week, an illness that affects millions throughout the country. Officials with the Recovery and Wellness Center in Richland say this week is meant to bring public attention to the severity of the illness, while also helping people who are struggling with an eating disorder. With the popularity of social media increasing, the pressure to look perfect is being linked to eating disorders in children. and officials are also seeing a rise during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Association reports that there are 20 million women and 10 million men in the United States alone that will struggle with an eating disorder at some point in their life.
If you or a loved one is struggling with a disorder, the Recovery and Wellness Center is offering free consultations and assessments online. Although fans won't be able to attend games in person, the Tri-City Americans are just weeks away from kicking off their 2020-2021 season. Puck drops for the Americans on March 18th, and General Manager Bob Torrey told us that players will be arriving in the Tri-Cities at the end of the week, and they're ready to get back on the ice.
They're excited to get back. I mean, they're 16 to 20-year-old kids. They've wanted to get back since October, so you know they're chomping at the bit to get back and get going and see their friends and get on the ice, and that's what they do. You know, they're hockey players. They want to be on the ice.
The WHL has several COVID-19 protocols in place for teams to be able to play, including testing players 3 times a week. The WHL released the U.S. division schedule yesterday. The Americans are set to play 12 home games at the Toyota Center in Kennewick and 12 games on the road.
At 5:06, let's take a quick break here on Good Morning Northwest. But before we do, let's take that live look outside.
And we're getting ready for those pesky winds to return today, along with a few rain chances as you wake up this morning. I'll have that full forecast. It's all coming up.
Plus, the state just passed a measure that could create a new office dedicated to cybersecurity. We're talking about the new policies.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. A judge has rejected a landlord group's challenge to several Seattle laws meant to protect renters from eviction once the coronavirus pandemic moratorium expires. The Seattle Times reports a King County Superior Court judge found the laws, including Seattle's ban on winter evictions, largely constitutional. The Rental Housing Association of Washington sued in an effort to block the laws, arguing the regulations would gut their rights under state law. The Washington Senate has unanimously passed a measure that creates a state office of cybersecurity. The bill passed the chamber yesterday and was drafted in response to a security breach that exposed personal information from around 1.6 million unemployment claims filed last year. If passed by the full legislature and signed by Washington Governor Jay Inslee, the office would set security policies and develop centralized protocols for managing the state's information technology assets. It now heads to the House for consideration. This brings us to our poll question of the day. Do you think Washington should have an office of cybersecurity? Vote now at yaktrinews.com/vote, and we'll have those results at the end of the show. Coming up on Good Morning Northwest, a Seattle woman was infected with coronavirus while she was pregnant with twins. We have her story next.
Everyone, we now know pregnant women appear to be at a higher risk for COVID-19 complications. In Washington, here's one story of an expecting mother's fight with the virus.
Those are the biggest worries.
On this day for now, the Clark family relieved COVID-19 is behind them.
It just all of a sudden came on.
Jessica, who's pregnant with twins, Matt and Lucy, just 2, all had COVID in November. Jessica's fight with the virus was relentless.
Everything that they tell you, the muscle aches, it was horrible.
Jessica, who's a clinical nurse, was just 14 weeks pregnant at the time. Soon after, one of the babies became growth restrictive because the 37-year-old struggled to eat.
I do feel worried about what could happen, the long-term effects, because it's just still such an unknown virus.
A recent study co-authored by a UW Medicine doctor found Jessica isn't alone. Data shows the COVID-19 infection rate among pregnant women here in Washington was 70% higher than in similarly aged adults in the state. Doctors are now encouraging pregnant women to get the vaccine.
Right now, based on what we know, the risks for acquiring COVID-19 in pregnancy far, far outweigh any possible small risk to the COVID-19 vaccine.
Jessica, now 24 weeks pregnant with 2 now growing babies that doctors say are back on track. Dr. Christina Adams-Waldorf says the long-term impact of COVID-19 on newborns is not yet known.
There are lots of groups that are studying that right now. We'll know more in a few years.
The Clarks believe their unborn baby girls are fighters and are hopeful for healthy newborns come April.
Dr. Waldorf says doctors are also learning that women who are vaccinated do pass on some of those antibodies to their unborn baby. If it seems like we've gotten an unusual amount of snow this year, you're not wrong. WashDOT says it's measured more than 30 feet of snow in Snoqualmie Pass, which beat the 10-year average. Not all of that snow fell at once, of course, but we are seeing snowbanks that get up to around 12 feet tall. WashDOT says even with spring on the way, it's important to make sure you're prepared for extreme conditions and the possibility of a pass closure before you head to the mountains.
Now, KapKView First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Kristen Walls.
And today will be one of those days. There's going to be some delays if you're going to be heading over Snoqualmie Pass and even White Pass as well. We'll get you here to those pass reports with a lot more snow in the forecast for the Cascades. Locally here, our wind will be picking up. So we have a wind advisory, which is expected to start 10 a.m. this morning and actually last all the way through our day on Friday. So through 9 p.m., a couple of days here, we can actually see some wind gusts 40 to 50, even up to 55 miles per hour at times. It includes the entire area. So pretty light right now, but we are starting to slowly see these winds getting going. Right now up to 19 for your sustained wind in Walla Walla, 7 in the Tri-Cities, and still fairly light for the Yakima and the Kittitas Valley, but everybody will see an increase in these winds as we take you throughout your day. So there's Futurecast, 5 o'clock this afternoon. Wind gusts could be as close to 40 to 50 miles per hour for today. And then we're going to continue to keep these winds with us. There's Friday morning, Friday afternoon, and then we'll slowly start to see these winds dying down for your Saturday. Still keeping winds 15 to 20, but nothing like we're going to see out there for your Thursday and then also for your Friday. Temperatures right now, we're starting off at 42 Tri-Cities and 43 in Walla Walla. 33 in Yakima. We have this weak system that is bringing us a chance for a little bit of some precipitation early this morning. Right now, we're watching this line working through portions of the Tri-Cities this morning. And since temperatures are above freezing, we're seeing just a little bit of some drizzle and some light rain expected from this Kennewick, Richland, and even extending over into Prosser. And a lot of this isn't going to last too long. Actually going to see some of those improvements by lunchtime into the afternoon hours. Now, of course, higher elevations, we're looking at a winter storm warning in place for the Blues back through the Cascades and eastern slopes. Looking below 2,500 feet, so Cle could see between 4 to 10 inches with this system. Above 2,500 feet in the eastern slopes, 12 to 24. And of course, back through the Cascades, 1 to 3 feet of snowfall. This will go through Friday evening, so about 10 p.m. before we'll start to see some improvements. So there is that system. We have a lot of snow that is falling right now through our mountain passes. Chains are required for both eastbound and westbound lanes for Snoqualmie Pass. And then Stevens Pass right now, we have traction tires, which are required. Still a lot of snowfall expected today. So there goes our clearing. Actually looking at some sunshine returning by lunchtime into the afternoon hours. The mountain snow will continue. I think on Friday, there's a look at 4 o'clock. We could have a slight chance for a stray shower, but we are looking at a lot of dry time locally here on Friday. Of course, the mountain snow showers and those winds will continue to kick around the area. Really clearing out though on Saturday. Should be a beautiful weekend ahead. So there are your temperatures for this afternoon. 52 in Toppenish with 50 degrees in Yakima. Low 50s, Tri-Cities, Connell and Prosser. And then over into Walla Walla and Pendleton, 48 degrees for you. So overnight tonight, still going to be breezy. Numbers tonight dipping down into the 20s and 30s. So there's your 7-day forecast with plenty of sun this weekend. 55 on Sunday and keeping those numbers in the 50s next week and still pretty quiet. 54 degrees there on Tuesday. And then your 7-day forecast for Yakima. The winds will slowly die down this weekend. Mostly sunny. The warmest day there on Sunday at 53.
On the COVID-19 front, there's good news and bad news. The good news, across the U.S., the number of new daily cases is still on the way down, and more Americans are getting vaccinated. The bad news, variants of the virus could cause a surge in just weeks. And as Britt Conway reports, vaccine manufacturers are stepping up their game as health experts step up their pleas for Americans to stick with critical safety measures like masks and social distancing.
It is the worst I have ever felt in my life.
Bree Smith thinks she got COVID-19 while she was shopping. Her story is one of millions at this point. The daily count of confirmed cases is going down, but medical experts say we're not out of the woods.
We have to keep our eye on the ball.
This is the ball, the UK variant. The CDC says the US could see a surge in cases because it spreads more easily, and it could end up becoming the predominant variant here by mid to late March. The good news? Studies have shown it may be responsive to the vaccines on the market right now, but that's not the case with every variant.
They may be more contagious, they may be more lethal, and now we're worried that the vaccines may not be as effective against them. So we're going to have to monitor this very, very closely.
The head of the CDC says efficacy is something the agency is looking at.
These vaccine responses are not as neutralizing against variants.
So vaccine manufacturers are stepping up their game. Moderna has designed an updated version of its vaccine for primary use and as a booster. Pfizer says it's laying the groundwork for a booster too. And there's new data that shows the Johnson & Johnson vaccine works better against the South African variant than data initially suggested. Experts say case numbers will likely fall again by summer. But until then,
one of the most impactful things we can do is wear a mask.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
And 2 teams of researchers say they found another new variant in New York City and other parts of the Northeast. They say this mutation is similar to the one first spotted in South Africa. The U.S. has a new ambassador to the United Nations. Vice President Harris administered the oath of office to Linda Thomas Greenfield Wednesday. The Senate confirmed Thomas Greenfield the day before. She's expected to present her credentials to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres today. Her swearing in took place amid concerns over coronavirus. The White House notified the public that a member of the vice president's press pool tested positive. They say that person didn't have contact with the vice president. An unexpected delay for President Biden's controversial pick to oversee the Office of Management and Budget. The Senate has postponed the vote on Neera Tanden's nomination. One official says senators want more time. Republicans and one Democrat have said they will not support Tanden, in part for past statements she made on Twitter. Tanden has since apologized, and the White House still supports her nomination. If Tanden's nomination stalls out, it would be the first defeat of a high-profile Biden pick subject to Senate approval.
Time for that close to home forecast. Wind advisory is set to start at about 10 a.m. this morning, so those winds have already started to increase. We'll have just a slight chance for a morning shower, but then turning partly sunny this afternoon. 53 degrees today in Burbank, 52 in Kennewick. Benton City today jumping up to 52 degrees, and then we'll have some rain showers, especially here along the foothills of the Blues, especially for the first half of the day today. We're going to be up to about 44 in Athena, Pendleton at 48, Boardman jumping up to about 50 degrees this afternoon, and it's certainly going to be breezy for you. Your wind gusts this afternoon, 40 to 45 miles per hour. We'll have some sunshine returning as well for today, with those winds picking up from Zillah, Wapato, and the Union Gap. Union Gap jumping up to 51, and then snow mixing in with a wintry mix at times, especially for Ellensburg and Cle Elum today. Ellensburg at 44, Vantage close to 50 degrees.
Thank you so much, Kristen. Well, Canadian students at a school worked together to build an epic snow fort. Their teacher said usually the students build sculptures in the winter, but the class wanted to step it up this year. They designed the snow fort themselves, complete with ice tables and chairs. Then, for 4 days, students took turns hauling the snow while other students piled the snow higher and higher. It ended up 36 feet long and more than 7 feet high. One of the mothers say it's been a welcome distraction for her kids.
They have had a lot of things taken from them this year, and so to have something to look forward to every day at school, something a little bit different than being in the classroom, it's been really good.
Now hopefully the snow fort won't melt too quickly. So cute. These guys did a great job.
How old are these kids, though? That's the most impressive snow fort I've seen. They didn't look like they were very old.
I know, I couldn't do that, but
No.
hats off to them.
Yep.
Coming up next on Good Morning Northwest, more encouraging pandemic news as we inch closer to having a third vaccine approved for the United States.
Plus, as Governor Inslee pushes to get kids back in classrooms, we're breaking down the latest recommendations from the State Health Department about what those classrooms should look like. Good Morning Northwest continues right now.
From KVU Local News, this is Good Morning Northwest.
Good morning, Northwest. Almost made it to Friday, everybody. So some good news to start off there. And Kristen, how's today looking? I know that we have had at least a couple rain showers this morning.
Yeah, you know, we have a few showers that are moving through. We'll also have those winds picking up. So they will be back throughout the day today. But as we're giving you a live look right now, this is from downtown Yakima. We have a pretty quiet start for you. The winds haven't really been picking up just yet. And actually should see more sunshine back in the forecast for you today. But everybody is under that wind advisory. You can see where those winds have really started to pick up. Walla Walla up to 17 miles per hour. A sustained wind now in the Tri-Cities up to 16 miles per hour. And you can see this line as it's working through the Tri-Cities this morning. So Kennewick, Richland, over into Prosser, a little bit of some rainfall for you. And this will eventually be working into the foothills of the Blues this morning as well. Dry, though, for the Yakima Valley. Temperatures 43 Tri-Cities, 44 in Walla Walla. Toppenish, you're sitting in at 37. So there's your Thursday forecast. We'll have some sunshine peeking out this afternoon, and it will be drier with that high temperature of 53 degrees. So how long will these winds last? What will that weekend hold for us? Your forecast, it's coming up.
Thank you, Kristen. 2,000 more people in our community will soon be fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Prosser Memorial Health is hosting a second dose clinic Saturday at Housel Middle School. At the Benton County Fairgrounds, more than 1,700 Pfizer shots went into arms Wednesday. That's a record for them. Any appointments for today will be Pfizer second doses for those who got their first at the fairgrounds. If you need a second Moderna shot, 500 will be given Friday and Saturday. The vaccines work by teaching your immune system how to recognize and fight the virus that causes COVID-19. It should keep people out of the hospital and get us closer to phase 3. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration says Johnson & Johnson's COVID-19 vaccine has met its requirement for emergency use authorization. According to the FDA, Johnson & Johnson's vaccine is about 70% effective at protecting against severe COVID-19 infection at least 14 days after vaccination. Those rates aren't as high as the currently approved vaccines, but Johnson & Johnson's shot only requires one dose instead of the initial shot and booster required for Pfizer and Moderna's vaccines. The FDA's Vaccines and Related Biological Products Advisory Committee will meet tomorrow to make a final decision. A top health official says it's possible a single dose of coronavirus vaccine might be enough for people who have already been infected. Dr. Francis Collins, director of the National Institutes of Health, made the comment in a blog post. However, Collins says determining the efficacy of a single dose is going to require more research. He referenced a recent small study that looked at 109 people who had already received a first dose of the vaccine. For 41 people who had previously tested positive, immune response to one dose was equal to or better than the responses from 2 doses in people who had never been infected. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs is trying to get more COVID-19 vaccines to rural areas. VA officials spoke at a Senate hearing Wednesday. They say the department is flying doses to areas in Montana, Alaska, and Oregon.
We are using the fly-ins, as you said. Today's our third one. Lewistown is having that. We're using dual-use vehicles and the medical mobile units where we have them across our VISN, and those are part of the deployment strategy to reach the rural veterans.
The VA says about 15% of potential recipients are declining the vaccine. The department plans to work with primary care doctors to provide information about benefits of the shot.
High schoolers are back to school and back on the field for the first time in a year. Hermiston High softball beat Pasco 23-6 earlier this week and hosts Chiawana today. Girls soccer kicks off next Tuesday and Thursday at Kennison Field. Bulldogs football plays at Hanford Friday, March 5th. Hermiston's fall sports also include cross country and volleyball. The CDC just released new information about coronavirus outbreaks in gyms. Researchers say in 1 week, dozens of people who attended in-person classes at a Chicago gym without wearing masks came down with coronavirus. And in Hawaii, a yoga instructor started showing symptoms after a few hours after teaching a maskless class. Everyone who had been there later tested positive. The CDC says cases like those show how important it is to keep your mask on at the gym, even when you're staying 6 feet apart. This week, the Oregon legislature got its first look at a proposed tax increase on all wholesale alcohol sold in the state. Beer and wine taxes in Oregon have stayed the same for decades, but opponents say Oregon now ranks third in the country for untreated addiction, and alcohol abuse is a big part of that. They're hoping higher costs will make people think twice about going on a binge.
Excessive alcohol drinking is costing the state economy $4.8 billion annually. Teenagers have less money to spend on alcohol, so the minute you raise the price, they're going to buy less. The same is true of binge drinkers.
Oregon Recovers says money raised from the tax will create thousands of jobs in mental health and treatment centers, and they're estimating it will add less than 50 cents to the average price you're paying in a bar or restaurant. But opponents say this will add another burden to industries already hit hard by COVID lockdowns.
You put that on top of an industry that is one of the hardest hit during the last 12 months, and you're looking at devastating effects if this were to actually pass.
When you raise prices, then people buy less, and therefore every brewery has to cut expenses, which means jobs.
Of course, this new push for taxes comes just after voters decided to decriminalize small amounts of hard drugs like heroin and meth. The goal of that change was getting people into treatment instead of jail. Money for those recovery centers is coming from Oregon's marijuana taxes.
6:05, let's take a quick break here in Good Morning Northwest, but first, let's take that live look outside.
We're actually seeing the moon setting this morning. You can see that bright spot that's there in the background. The moon is setting at 6:18 this morning, but we're going to look for a lot of changes. The winds have certainly been picking up. Wind advisory will go into effect. What can you expect this weekend? Your forecast coming up.
Back to Good Morning Northwest. You may have seen people in neon green shirts helping tidy up the Tri-Cities. The Clean Sweep group meets multiple times a month to pick up trash and litter around the area. The group talks to local fire and park officials to choose which place they're going to clean next. Volunteers say it feels good to do their part in helping the community while also making friends at the same time.
Today, we're just literally cleaning up the trash. So we're giving back to the community by providing a service, and that service is geared towards cleanliness.
The group also helps put on food drives every month in the area. This coming Saturday afternoon, they'll be at Bateman Island doing a clean sweep, and they say anyone is welcome to join. Alrighty, 6:24. Let's take a look now at our reason to smile today.
This is a cute one. I don't know about you, and puppies sure put a smile on my face.
Definitely.
So take a look at this cutie pie. I love the name too. This is Sir Spike, the Dragon Slayer.
Perfect, with his little dragon that he's slayed.
Oh my gosh, this eight-week-old puppy just snuggling up with his toy.
It's almost as big as him.
I know. Oh, this is so adorable, but so sweet. Thank you so much to Lisa Watts for submitting this photo. If you have your reason to smile or picture you just love, you can head over to yakcharnews.com. We have our photos of the day section there to submit your photos.
Now, Cap gave you first alert weather with Chief Meteorologist Kristen Walls.
And we were certainly lucky to have a beautiful day yesterday. Sunshine, temperatures in the 50s. We now have some changes as we end the work week. Wind advisory, this is expected to start at 10 a.m. today, last until the day on Friday, so till 9 p.m. So a couple of days here where we have some wind gusts that could be as high as about 45 to 55 miles per hour. Everybody is included in on this, to the Columbia Basin into the foothills, even for the Yakima Valley this morning. Although early this morning for the Yakima Valley, not too bad. Pretty calm start for you, but we're already up to 16 mile per hour wind in the Tri-Cities, 15 in Pendleton, 16 in Walla Walla. And we're noticing those winds, the wind gusts at times picking up already from 30 in the Tri-Cities and 30 in Pendleton. So some of our wind gusts again for today, 45 to even 50 miles per hour. So there's Futurecast really turning breezy to windy this afternoon. We're going to continue to keep things windy on Friday. There's Friday morning into the afternoon hours. It really won't be until the weekend we'll finally start to see some improvement. So by Saturday, those winds will slowly start to die down. Actually, should be a beautiful weekend for both Saturday and Sunday. Now, getting you to those current temperatures out the door, we're still in the low 40s in the Tri-Cities, 38 in Walla Walla, and then down to about 31 degrees for Ellensburg and Yakima. We even have a little bit of some rain to get through this morning. Now just pushing east of the Tri-Cities, really drying out from Sunnyside over into Yakima. So a lot of this wet weather now focused along the foothills of the Blues this morning. You'll have the best chance to see some scattered showers for that morning commute. Of course, a high chance of some snowfall there along the foothills of the Blues areas and up into the higher elevations. So starting to see some improvement, maybe a little bit of some drizzle left over for Kennewick this morning, but a lot of locations should see some peaks of some sunshine this afternoon. There's the winter storm warning in place for the northern Blues, eastern slopes, Cascades. Notice that snowfall amount that we're expecting for the Cascades, 1 to 3 feet of snowfall over the next couple of days. There will be a lot of travel restrictions, so if you are traveling today or tomorrow, just be sure to check those past reports. The snow is already coming down through the Cascades. We have chains which are required for both eastbound and westbound lanes for Snoqualmie Pass. And then White and Stevens Pass, we have traction tires required. So there's going to be a lot of snowfall to get through for the next few days. Locally, though, we will have some sunshine peeking out this afternoon. Temperatures today, again, climbing up in the low 50s. We might have just a slight chance for a stray shower here on Friday. There's a look at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but we should see more sunshine by the afternoon. The mountain snow showers will continue, but then just in time for the weekend, we really clear out, looking at that mostly sunny sky for both Saturday and Sunday. So highs out there for this afternoon, 44 in Ellensburg with 50 degrees in Yakima. Cle Elum today at 38. Tri-Cities up to 53 with Hanford at 54, 53 as well in Hermiston, and then some upper 40s for Walla Walla and Pendleton, Dayton at 43. So tonight we'll have that partly cloudy sky, still going to be breezy, numbers falling through the 30s. So look ahead to your 7-day forecast for the Tri-Cities. Again, that sunshine is back this weekend up to 55 on Sunday. And then next week we're still quiet, 54 on Tuesday of next week. And then your 7-day for Yakima, after those winds died down, we'll have that mostly sunny sky this weekend with 53 on Sunday.
Thank you, Kristen. News from around the world. The Olympic torch relay will get underway in Japan on March 25th. Officials say the tradition will start in eastern Japan to mark the 10th anniversary of a devastating earthquake there. Strict coronavirus measures will be in place as the torch makes its way to the host city, Tokyo. Among other rules, torch bearers will have to fill out health screenings 2 weeks in advance, and spectators have been told not to shout or cheer if they come out to watch the relay. Organizers say they hope the relay will bring hope and courage to people as the world fights the pandemic. The Tokyo Olympics are set to officially begin on July 23rd. Brisbane, Australia has been named the preferred host for the 2032 Olympic Games. The International Olympic Committee made a unanimous choice to move the process along. If Brisbane is eventually named the host city, it would be the first Summer Games in Australia since Sydney in 2000.